Hi, my name is Bogdan, and wouldn't you know it, my mortgage just went up an additional £100. Because why not? And that's the problem with our current economy. Prices are rising, but our salaries are not. Let me explain to you in this video why all of a sudden your British pounds are worth a lot less. But first, let's all subscribe to this channel and press that bell thing to get them notifications when I upload something new.
The UK's economic policy isn't quite hitting the mark right now.
Disappointing but not unexpected that the UK's economy has contracted.
The number of firms going bankrupt in England and Wales jumped 57% in the year just gone.
Growth even worse than sanctions hit Russia.
The UK will have the lowest growth among the big group of 7 industrial countries next year. Only Russia.
Let me put it simply. The UK economy is in a current state of stagnation and very, very low productivity. In fact, the UK has one of the lowest grossing GDPs amongst the G7 countries, and our GDP has been averaging a measly 1.4% over the past 5 years. That is nothing. There are several reasons for which the UK's economy is currently imploding, collapsing, whatever you want to call it. And the whole shebang started with the very intelligent decision in 2016 to move forward with the Brexit and divorce the European Union. The UK economy has never recovered past Brexit. The absolute and irrevoced departure from a free trade union, generating thus an immediate drop of the British pound versus the dollar and any other of the world's strongest currencies. And honestly, I think it's very likely that this trend is gonna continue to go downwards. And if this video already sounds a little bit complicated, it's not. Ever since 2016, you and me and everyone else's spending power has lowered. We can't buy enough of what we would like to anymore. And then there was that elongated period of nothingness. What was it called? Do you remember that one? The pandemic. COVID-19 had a significant impact on the downfall of the UK's economy due to its many lockdowns, foreclosures, businesses going out of business, furloughs, people losing their jobs, foreign investment moving, and a general lack of business in the world, general lack of trade. Unemployment also rose to 5.1% by the end of 2020. At that point, government borrowing became so massive in order to substitute for the lack of income to the surviving businesses and to the furlough schemes that ran across the country. Let's talk about this debt for a second. An accumulated approximate 2.4 trillion pounds of government borrowing. 2.4 trillion pounds of government debt. 2.4 trillion. 2.4 trillion. I cannot imagine that amount of money. Who's ultimately going to pay for all of that? High debt levels have caused financial instability in the UK. While us, the citizens, were struggling with a lower buying power, businesses are now struggling with the cost of importing goods, exporting taxes, and overall reduced demand for services and goods. Talking about demand, there isn't any. There's just a general lack of trade in the UK. Or as specialists are calling it, a trade deficit. Yes, because it sounds less bad. Let's add more problems to the mix. Hello, inflation. Inflation. Do we all know what it is and how it works? No? Inflation measures the rate at which prices of services and goods rise. When inflation is high, the price of living also rises with it. This means that consumers, i.e. you and I, we need more money than before to buy the exact same thing. In the UK, inflation has been above the Bank of England's target of 2% for most of the last decade alone. In simple words, the prices of things, the price of your life is rising much higher than your salary, which means you can never keep up. Which means you might start needing to acquire debt. Here are some examples of that. Let's start with housing. A big crisis right now in the UK because of the lack of true affordable housing.
Market watchers are questioning whether a slowdown in new buyer inquiries combined with record high house prices, skyrocketing mortgage rates and an inflationary squeeze on disposable incomes is increasingly the harbinger.
Whatever mega housing projects occur throughout London or many other cities in the UK, affordable to them does not mean what it means to us. Listen, I don't want to get into this right now. This topic really pisses me off. I feel like this topic kind of needs a video in itself. But just as a little example, my mortgage just went up by an additional 0.65%, which translates to an additional £100+ a month. Why? Because the Bank of England decided so. Well, not really and not quite, but that's where it starts, with the Bank of England. When's the last time that you went shopping? Can you remember how much you paid for that? Food, subsistence. The cost of groceries has increased in the UK from 2016 to 2020 by about 12.3% due to continuous rising costs of ingredients and labor. Why labor? Because there is very little of. Do you remember that Brexit thing in 2016, where the majority of Eastern Europeans, but not only workers, decided to fully leave the UK?
I arrived in the UK and the next day I started working in a hotel. There were some English people working in the hotel, but they only stayed for 2 weeks or a month maximum. After that, they were gone. It was enough for them. They quit.
Which meant there's now no more labor. Or at least very, very little left. Costs of labor have now been increased because the UK has had to hire specialists or contractors or whatever. New labor at higher prices.
But everybody knew the English wouldn't do the jobs we were doing. So in fact, nobody was stealing the jobs.
Energy now. The continuous increase of energy, of electrics and gas. Especially. We've all received that letter from our energy suppliers stating that at the end of our current contracts, our energy bills will be going up by about 3 times as much. So in 4 days, my gas is gonna be triple the cost that it has been for the past 2 years. Fact. Now, we'd love, probably, to blame this energy crisis on the Russian-led war in Ukraine. And in fact, we can. And we should.
Ukraine is under attack by land, sea and air. For 70 years, no two major countries on this continent have gone to war on this scale.
NATO is afraid of a World War III, but it is already started. And these are Ukrainian children who are there taking the hit.
But even before last year, there was a bit of a panic. There were concerns about the future of natural gas supply from Russia into Europe since 2014 when Russia decided to annex Crimea. And that future has come true today. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine today is this exact anticipated supply issue.
Natural gas from Russia that moves through Ukraine to Europe is a focus again this morning. For the first time, Ukraine is shutting off a key gas pipeline. Somewhere between a third and a quarter of Russia's natural gas shipments to Western Europe move through Ukraine.
Ukraine is a key transit route for Russian gas into Europe, and with it being under siege, that flow is now disrupted, which means demand for natural gas in Europe and in UK for this particular video is a lot bigger. Supply is lower, thus generating the huge price of triple what you were paying for 2 days ago. But the UK has also failed us in the ever so trending topic of sustainability and particularly renewable energy. That's what the world needs now, not just the UK. We're an island here in Great Britain. We have water all around us. Can we not put that water to work to somehow generate electricity? UK government, you can have that one for free. Just please get on it. And while we're listing things, let's add one more to this. Education. The UK is renowned, with millions of students coming in every year to get their higher education, right? University and postgrad. It took me a whole of 10 years to pay my university debt. And keep in mind that if you went to uni after 2012, my debt was 6 times lower than yours. University already costs £12,000 per year for postgraduate European students and over 30,000 for non-European students. And every year, I swear, it just keeps going up a little bit more. And thus the borrowing system also changes, and companies are now going for a slightly higher repayment interest. That's a student trap that everyone falls for when they're doing their loan application. Let me know in the comments, should I make a video about that specifically? To go to university, it'll get increasingly more expensive, and thus your debt will get bigger. Yeah, you got it. Well done. We're on the same page. In conclusion, in these recent years, the UK has seen a combination of low wage growth and higher inflation, which has led to a decline in buying power for many of us. The pandemic also caused a lot of people to lose their jobs or to go on furlough, which further impacted people's ability to make ends meet. And finally, the ever-rising cost of energy due to the geopolitical situation in the world right now is continuously making it harder for people to pay their bills, man. At the end of the month, after you've paid your energy bills, you are skint. You are flat out broke. I joked just now. I know that that's not everyone's case. Not everyone is flat out broke at the end of the month. But the reality is that some people sadly are. And until the UK figures out how to flip the charts and upscale productivity to raise and grow our economy, we are sadly all stuck in this bleak, expensive reality. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments below. What do you think is an immediate thing that the UK government could do to increase productivity and grow its economy right now to make the citizens' lives better? I'm Bogdan, and this is my quick analysis of why the UK economy is doing really badly and why your money is worth a lot less. Please consider subscribing to my channel. If you haven't done so already, press that sub button and then the bell thing to get notifications when I upload something new, because I'm gonna do more of these kinds of videos. I'm liking the more mature, informative, debateful content. Remember, you can always get in touch with me on any of the social media platforms with @BogdanAlexiTV. That's how you can follow me, especially on the gram. Drop me a message, say hi. But until then, I'm gonna end this video here. Thanks for watching. It means a lot to me. I'll see you next week in a new one. And in the meantime, I'm gonna wish you a productive week. Later!